Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in again to my 5 top tips to pick an estate agent. And picking an estate agent to sell your property at the moment is so important because of the market and what's happening. And you must have an estate agent ideally who's experienced and realistic and not burying their head in the sand and hope everything's going to be okay, because it probably won't be. So my 5 top tips. Number 1, please don't go to an online estate agency. These online agents are very cheap, and when the market's really strong, you can argue, well, it's easy to sell the property, you might as well go to an online agent, and you're doing it all yourself anyway with an online agent, but at least you're not paying much of a fee. The fee normally is paid up front, which means they've got no incentive to sell it anyway. The people that work in these agencies, most of them are there for a reason. I don't want to be unkind, but they're there working on online as an online agent for a reason. And for me, I don't use them at all. So, how to pick the estate agent? People might think that a traditional estate agent, which is what we're talking about now because we've just discounted the online ones, they're gone out the window, that you want to pick an agent with very few properties for sale because it means that they've sold a lot. I'm afraid that's wrong. And I'm an estate agent myself, or I own estate agents, so I'm pretty hot on this subject. Most good agents have more properties to sell on Rightmove than any other agent. So pick an agent that is successful on Rightmove and has got a lot of properties for sale, or the most probably, because success breeds success. Also pick one that's in the market you're in. So for instance, Fine & Country, where we have a franchise for, is a very upmarket agency. There's no point going to Fine & Country if you're going to sell a little terrace house, in Hull. Having said that, if you've got a nice country cottage or something like that, Fine & Country would be great. Whereas in Hull or some of these, a terrace house somewhere, you want to use a more modest agent. They're very good agents. I'm not deriding the agent at all. It's just horses for courses. That's the second point. The third thing is to check when you speak to them, check that they've got a sales progression department. This is so important because you've got to remember that 30% of sales fall out of bed between the sale being agreed and the sale exchanging contracts. If they've got a sales progression department or person who deals with that, they are chasing that sale on your behalf every day. Doesn't mean you don't have to get involved in it as well, because you do. You need to be proactive when you sell a property. And you need to make sure your solicitor's on the ball way before you put it on the market. Make sure that you get them organised, and so on, that you've got all the information at the solicitors before you start the sales progress that they need. All the guarantees, all the other things that they require. They'll give you a list. Make sure you fill that list in, get it back to them. So sales progression is so important. That could be the difference between you selling a property and it falling through and reselling it at less money going forward. So that's very important. The fourth thing is, do not be mean on the fees. Now, people are surprised I say that because they think I'm quite ruthless sometimes and don't want to pay very much for property, which is true, but I want to look after my agent. And the reason I want to look after my agent, I want them to do the best job they can for me. So if they want 1.25%, I don't knock them down to 1%. If they want 1.5%, I might knock them down to 1.25% fee, but I'm not trying to kill them. I want them to earn money. I want them to be successful selling my property. And also, if they've got 2 similar properties to sell and they're making more money out of your property commission wise than the person who's been very mean and tight with them, they're going to sell yours first. So be sharp, be on what they're getting to sell your property is a tiny percentage of what you're going to get. So don't be too mean. They're your partner in business and you need them, especially at the moment. Now, you may get 2 or 3 agents round the house to say, look, or property, flat, whatever it might be, what is it worth? do not always pick the agent who says it's worth the most, because quite often the trick is, as some of you already know, they put the property on the market at overpriced, they know it's overpriced, and then over a period of 6 or 8 weeks, they reduce it, they work it down until the price it should have been, which could have been the price that the second agent told you it should be, the middle price. Always, 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 I ask the question, this property needs to be sold in 8 weeks. That way, you normally get an honest answer from them, and not, oh, well, we'll try it at another 20 or 30,000 more. I'm not interested in that. In this market, I want my property sold quickly because the market is falling in certain areas. I accept the fact that other areas it's not, but in certain areas it is. And I don't want that sale to fall through and then 4 months later, it's resold at less money. So I want to get the price right to start with. Listen to the agent. You've picked the agent. Pick the best agent you can and make sure you listen to their advice and take their advice. Very, very important. Now, the other important thing is, if you want to know more about buying and selling and being able to do it in a more sensible, methodical way with less stress and anxiety, then my book, Move Right, is the one for you. It's available through my website. If you buy it on Amazon, I make less money. So please buy it at johnhowardproperty.com. I've got a seminar coming up, or 2 seminars coming up in December, the 5th and 6th at Watford. I'm taking bookings online for that at the moment. So lots happening. Be careful. Don't go jumping in and buying loads of property at the moment. And I'll see you again next time.